Bottom shelf liquor? I barely know her. That's
darn near killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey. And by we, I mean a big we at this point. So you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are. And that's why we like you. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube right now, it's a little bit different of an episode. We'll get to that a little bit more later. But in the meantime, hit us up on Instagram. Chat us up. It was a fun week. Man, I tell you, that Brian Rapp and Cole, I love watching. I love people in their conversations. And you know what? We'd love to have conversations with you guys as well. So hit us up on Instagram. That's where we do most of our communications, or I should say Cole does most of the communications. There's times where I'll message people and they just assume it's Cole. And I'm like, whoops, nope. That was Robby, because Robby answered for once. Other than that, hit us up on, if you want to support us monetarily, hit us up on Chill Filtered. Nope. Go back.
Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. And, you can get in on some of our fun things we do. We got some goodies, some stickers, some Glencairns.
We got a bunch of drink-alongs lined up.
We got drink-alongs where once a month we will send you a little bit of whiskey via the manliest man ever, our courier. And, we can drink together and share notes. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So
it's a wonderful
Patreon.com/chillfiltered. Other than that, let's get to the show. An important show, a very important show, because we've dogged this man. Well, I haven't dogged
him. I've dodged him.
Dodged him is what I meant. I forgot.
What is the word he used? He used ducking.
You ducked him.
Ducking.
I have not ducked this man once. Every time we've been with this guy, I've been there. Cole has not. And you know what? I have a feeling Cole might try to do it again. So I'm going to add this guy into the stream here. Our good friend, John Hughes from Embellish Pod. And let's just hope Cole stays on for once. So anyway, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, I have a question. So now I've got to take some objection to you, Robby. Like, what do you mean by, like, this is a bigger than normal episode? Like, what are you trying to say about me?
That.
I'm just saying cumulatively.
It's not what it sounded like, because your eyes were way up.
So you're
whenever
saying
you
he's
said
a cumulative
bigger.
man?
Yeah, it didn't seem like a numbers thing. At least not.
It's 100% numbers. Count. It is, and you know what? So this is like it's bigger because this is the first time on our show we've had you, we've had each other. So that's 3 people. But you know what else we have that we have never had? A 4th member, the Bean Cam. So this is the biggest show of hosts we've ever had before. So there's the Bean Cam. Nothing fancy. Just Bush's Baked Beans, original flavor. Summer's almost over, folks. And you know your barbecue is not complete without a can of Bush's Baked Beans. Anyway, that's what I meant, John.
Logging all the times we rep them so that I can send it to them in my proposal letter.
It's once
you need to send them an invoice. Don't even start.
Just
send them an invoice. Be like, the airing of these advertisements has been worth X amount of dollars. Is that a coffee cup in there in that picture with it?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's the Chill Filtered old logo.
Got Seabald and Rostad.
And then and is that one of those like Angels whatever droppers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got my little Glencairn dropper right there that Cole got me.
I'm always looking.
You're a sharp dude there, man. That's I'm pretty sure out of all the Chill Filtered swag ever sold, because the store was only open, I don't even know if it's still there.
2 months maybe.
I'm pretty sure my family is the only one that bought a t-shirt for everyone in the family.
I think you're right.
Coffee cup. I may be the only owner of any Chill Filtered apparel
first edition
coffee cups. Yeah.
Hey, it's going to be worth something someday. Whenever you guys are part of a multimedia conglomerate, whatever it is, it'll be worth a ton of money.
Speaking of multimedia conglomerates, John, what are you entry buzzing?
I lucked out today. We were talking about this offline, but I was checking with my local store trying to find something that we could all share. And in the side conversation, he's like, "Hey, we're getting our Eagle Rare store pick in, and this is the first one they've done in a couple of years." And
awesome.
So I had to be there first thing. I was like, "Hey, I'll be here." And they've set a couple more back for me. I've got some I'm gonna donate for a charity giveaway, and then one
that's so good.
Put on the back shelf. But it's delicious, man. It is delicious.
I love a good Eagle Rare pick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I haven't had one in so long.
Rare?
I haven't seen them.
What'd you say, John?
I said I haven't seen an Eagle Rare pick in like a couple years, like legitimately.
Yeah, for sure. I think it probably slowed down quite a bit. I know. The last one I bought was at least a year ago. Yeah.
Yep. We've been in Idaho. We get Buffalo Trace picks once a year, but that's about it. I don't think we ever had Eagle Rare picks. So
what are you entry buzzing, Robbie?
Oh, really? I didn't know what to drink, but I had what is it? My Irish whiskey that I'll use for what's the mixed drink called? Sours. Whiskey sours. Yeah. Widow Jane Irish whiskey. It's not good. It's not anything great. But I was like, I'll just have a little bit of that. And that's all I've had. What do you got, Cole? What are you entry buzzing on that?
I am drinking. This is I wouldn't have bought this if it weren't for Matt Porter. Shout out to ADHD Whiskey on YouTube. I got the Tin Cup 10 year, and he's right. This is one of the best pours.
Whoa, Cole! Hey!
But that's just a teaser, everyone. Check out his video on. He's got 2 videos on Tin Cup 10 year. Yep. So check it out. He's talking truth, and Matt Porter always talks truth. Have you tried it, John?
So I have tried it. I don't have a bottle myself, but I have tried it on the side, and that was. If you ever have, everybody gets into this. If you start following somebody who's pretty big on whiskey tube, you're like, are they full of crap or do they have legitimate taste? And taking a strong stance on 10 year Tin Cup.
He took a strong stance.
He did. He took a strong stance, and everyone after that has been like, no, it's not. It's not. And then they go taste it and like, okay, yeah, you were right. And so it gives you this confidence of like, okay, if I can't believe anybody else, I know I can believe Matt Porter.
That was the thing about bartending in a whiskey bar or earlier in my life is I want you to come back, but I'm not going to force this high cost product on you because it's high cost. I'm going to give you what brings you back. And that's Matt is
bring you back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
cool.
It's fantastic for 84 proof. I think it's the best. Honestly, I would mostly stand by. I can't think of anything outdoing.
Again, we're gonna do it on the show.
Oh yeah, totally.
The roll.
You gotta save it. Don't give away what you can sell.
I'll tell you
keep an eye out, peeps.
It may be or may not be good or great.
It might be terrible.
May be horrible.
Yeah.
Here's 10 things I wish I wouldn't have known about Tin Cup, but now I do. There's your clickbait.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. Everyone's
you could still dislike it though, Robbie. You could. Is Robbie or Rob? See, the thing is, he's calling you Robbie, but it's Rob on the screen.
Oh,
he's confused by this. But anyways,
Rob takes up less space, right? So new year, new Rob.
And
and Rob is.
Do you ever go by Rob?
I don't ever go by Rob. Call me what you want, just don't call me late for dinner, right? So,
Ayo.
So here's the thing. I had a meeting with my therapist today, which I haven't seen for a while.
Me too.
Oh, nice. John?
Yeah.
I did not. My wife saw her therapist yesterday, and so I think the way it works, as long as one of the people in the relationship are seeing one,
there you go.
She goes to talk to her therapist about things that I do wrong, which makes complete sense. She's right.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so in a clinical sense, you put your documentation in. So people formally, I put on documentation, will call me Robert. Most people call me Robbie.
Roberto.
People I work with typically will go with Rob. And then if I knew you in my 7th grade to 8th grade year of middle school, you might call me Jim Bob because that's what I went by in those eras.
That was a nickname.
Is your first name James?
Middle name's James. Yep.
Okay.
So Robert James.
I have a James Robert that I used to work with, and so I called him Jim Bob. But
nice.
that is funny, because I still live in the town where I grew up, and so you can tell where a person knew me from based off of what they call me, whether it was elementary school, middle school, high school, college, or just as an adult, based off of nicknames. It's always fun. Sometimes.
So what are some of those, John?
It's just a matter of whether they use my middle initial or not. Because John's a common name, and so whenever you're going into middle school, we have 3 elementary schools that merge into one, and so you end up with a couple almost 300 kids in a class. There's going to be at least 5 Johns, and by the time they got to me, the other John H had already become John H, and so then they had to go by the middle initial, right? And so that ran out. Exactly. You hit that. Do you know my middle name?
I do because of Patreon.
That's true. Okay.
Mhm.
I was like, it's weird. It's weird.
Uh-huh.
But Patreon.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Cole is
Owen,
good.
Oscar.
Nope.
Olawicious.
Yes, you nailed it.
Olfactory.
Headshot it, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
That was the Olawicious.
Yeah.
No, wait, what is it?
It's Oliver.
Oliver. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
John
I actually have
Oliver.
two middle names, but we're not going to talk about the second one. But anyway,
Oh no! Now we are. Now we
Dude,
are.
no.
You're like a Hispanic man. Got two,
it really
at
is.
least
It's
two.
like my parents couldn't make up their mind, but I think they were really just trying to play the will game. It's like I have 4 great grandfathers. 2 of them were named John. One was named Oliver, and the other one was named the other name. And so they're just like, we can just give him all 3,
Is
and
it
we'll stay in the
Voldemort?
will on both
You're
families.
saying it like it's Voldemort.
You can't. Maybe it's Beetlejuice.
Uh-huh.
As long as we don't say it 3
if it-
times, we're fine.
Yeah, we can't say Beetlejuice again. After I said that, Beetlejuice.
It's a good thing I don't like Beetlejuice.
You don't like Beetlejuice?
Well,
You
there's
like
the
that
third.
movie?
Oh, we
Now,
just
is
did.
it-
Michael Keaton's here.
But does one person have to say it 3 times, or can 3 different people say it one time? I feel like it's one person has to say it 3 times.
Seeing that movie, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 people said it and it still counted.
Was it like
That movie's weird.
the Candyman? Anyone could say Candyman, or anyone could say Bloody Mary, right? Like you're staring in the mirror.
Right.
Someone says Bloody Mary, like, you shut up, and someone else says, like, no, you shut up. Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
You just got to shut up,
Correct.
right? Don't
Yeah,
tempt
that's how
fate.
you get punched in the throat over that.
All right, so listeners, real quick, I think it's got to go up this week. We got to figure out John Oliver Hughes's.
It's a tough one
Second
because the thing
one.
is, it doesn't exist on any documentation except for my birth certificate. Because most things, even your social security card, only allows room for one middle name, and so it exists nowhere but my birth certificate.
Huh.
Which technically is public record. Like if you want to spend the money and get the vital statistics record, you could do that, but that's creepy. You do that, that's creepy.
Patreon.com/chillfiltered, and we can find out John O. Hughes's other middle name.
It's an expose. Like
Yeah.
we're now like this is our first transition to like expose news stuff
Right.
here. We're like we're just going
Gotcha.
after these
Now I'm worried about what's coming next. Like what reveal who my real father is. Is this like an extra Maury?
Mhm.
people.
All right.
Oh man.
One piece of news. I want to hear about everyone's life, week, whatever, but we only have so much time. But I'll go first.
Oh,
I'll go first.
I know what you're. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Did you hear it when I was walking away from the mic?
I saw you tease it there a little bit. Hey Cole, wait,
Yes.
now before you say anything though, can I ask you something?
Mhm. Yeah.
What you driving these days, buddy?
Oh, I'm driving an Audi these days as of Friday of last week. So
you never sent pics or anything, man. You're
Oh, I'm the worst.
killing me. Yeah, you're the best, but that's the
Yeah, I'm
worst.
driving a white Audi A4 from the year of 2020, and
Of
it's
course.
good. It has a tinge of weed smell to it because it was a theft recovery, but otherwise, it drives like a stallion. So I love it.
But you're in
Nice.
Virginia where it's decriminalized, so it doesn't really matter, right?
That's right. I think it is decriminalized.
So, could be anything. Is it in Kentucky?
No.
Yeah.
See now this would be perfect if only we would have saved Adam coming in for this episode
Yeah, exactly.
and the bean can. We would have hit 5 hosts at once. Oh
Yeah.
man, and Oh,
No, it
And
should
then
be,
we'll
but it's
bring in
not.
your daughters who break into the room, and we'll be like, "Hey, extra future co-host."
Dude,
There's a chance mine could show up too.
Okay.
Nice, Ava,
It's-
right? Or I hope that's not okay. Or
Nope, that is not my child's name. I don't know whose child that is.
Maya, Maya.
There you go.
There it is.
Yep, Maya.
Now,
and Leah.
John, I hate to disappoint you, but you are Ava's father. So
Yeah.
we just went
The
boom,
lie
boom, boom.
detector test says
enter random
There was
child
that one
behind
time
John
in
who's never-
Tijuana, so
Yeah,
Oh,
I can see
man.
John in Tijuana.
John. That's the middle
Drinking
name.
Kentucky
Tijuana.
Azul.
it's not.
Yeah,
oh,
that's-
yeah.
John
That's a thing,
Oliver
too.
Wanna Hughes.
Mhm.
I want a Hughes. We
Yeah,
got
from
him.
your neck of the woods, John.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really close. I'm actually going there at the end of this month.
No way. Are you doing anything with them, or are you just visiting?
No, no. Another podcaster is going to be in town from New
Nice.
York, and he was doing a tour.
Oh,
He was
that's
like,
cool.
"Hey, you want to hit it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll join you."
Oh, who's
Who's
that?
this? Can you mention?
So it's David Levine from Whiskey in My Wedding Ring.
Nice.
He's based out of New York. I met him back in the spring at a different thing.
Nice.
And super dude, really, really great podcast. I'll eventually have him on my podcast because you know,
Nice.
hey, it's easy content because you know I can talk to him forever.
So, you've only had us on once.
Mm-hmm.
What does that
Oh no,
say
that's
about
it.
us?
That's going to happen again. Well,
Okay.
I think I'm going to make it like a beginning of the new year thing every year. You know, especially if
Ooh, I
y'all are
like
going to
that.
always do your dry weeks in January. I'll try to ruin your dry week with some other things.
Well, Robby can't stand by it anyway, so it's perfect.
I
mean, you
feel-
didn't either, though.
That's true.
That's true.
But you know why?
Either way,
100-year-old whiskey.
I understand. I had an opportunity. David from Whiskey My Wedding brought some 1969 Old Crow. If I'd have been on dry week,
Whoa.
absolutely going to give up my dry week to try that.
So, real quick,
Mhm.
Old Crow named after James Crow or
Brandon
something
Lee.
like that. It wasn't Jim Crow, that's for sure.
No.
But he was a big deal in the whiskey world. He was the first guy to, I forget now. John, historian.
Nope. I think you can get it if we just let you get it. See, I can push
Oh,
this
okay,
off
okay,
on
okay.
you.
I can
because
segue
don't
for a
know.
second.
I
Cool
talked about
things.
this recently on a history.
I can
we can
segue
he was
for a
the-
second.
no. Sour mash. He was the first guy to do
Okay.
sour mash, or like to really make that a thing. So
That sounds right, and I'm not going to
Mhm.
object to it.
For my wife's 30th birthday, we did a bottom shelf birthday, and I provided a bunch of bottom shelf liquors, and it was a mixing contest to see who could make the best drink, and my wife had to be the judge. It got a little out of hand for her. There was like, it was nuts, and I was the designated driver until we got downtown to the hotels. However, my good friend John Ruprecht, whose wife coined Whiskey Talk Show, he made a drink. And he went bottom shelf on us. He took a pint of Old Crow and mixed it with LaCroix and made the Old LaCroix.
nice. Wait,
There
but
you go.
in the middle of what you were saying, I was thinking to myself, bottom shelf liquor? I barely know her. That's terrible.
Darn near killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, all right.
What was the last name of that guy that you just said?
Ruprecht?
Okay, and I'm gonna hold on to that. Oh, I'll come back to it.
Okay, you come back to Ruprecht.
Ooh.
Now, I'll tell you what. Here's a smooth transition for you. John's going to come back to that. And I think we're all going to come back in just a little bit because we're about that time. We got to take a walk. Let's go take a
Wait,
little-
but I want to hear about your guys' life.
Oh. John, how's your life?
It's good. I've got haven't announced it yet, but I'll talk about it here because I'll know for sure whether or not it's going to happen by the time
Okay.
this episode releases. But I secured an interview potentially on Tuesday for a guy that has absolutely almost nothing to do with whiskey, but I'm super excited about it. Like the main
who's that?
reason I started. So his real name is Jason, but he goes by Propaganda, and he is a hip hop artist on the West Coast.
Nice.
Really big into coffee, really big into spoken word. He does drink whiskey. He drinks cigar. He smokes cigars. He drinks whiskey. He likes coffee a lot. Like my people, but also I've been following his music career for like, I don't know, about 8 years, maybe 10 years.
That's awesome.
And I just like, it was one of those, like I sent out 2 or 3 of them that were like moonshots. I'm like, like Nick
Totally.
Offerman. I'm like, let's just see if I can get Nick
Yeah.
Offerman to say yes. And they came back like, yeah, absolutely. So it's supposed to be Tuesday,
We should do that.
but I don't know yet.
You
So
can't shoot shots
by the time
like
this comes
that.
out, we'll know if it's going to happen or not. It'll be on social media, so it won't matter.
John,
We
Cole,
should
we're not
start reaching out to our
Cole,
heroes.
we're not
and our
organized
people.
enough to do it. John is good at this. John,
Yeah.
we asked
There's no
John
good at
when-
this. I just thought of a name and sent out an email at like 11 o'clock one
Well,
night.
here's the-
That's all it was.
Okay. All right.
Timing is
we
everything.
could do that because we're like unorganized. Like today we're like, did we tell John 3 o'clock? I don't know. I think it was implied. And you're like, yeah, you told me. Like, we had no idea we told you not. Yeah, we're not good at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, there's
So
no
I-
organization. Luckily, Gmail keeps up with the email for me, so I know that I sent.
Oh,
that
that's
thing,
right.
but That's it.
There you go.
Mhm.
No, I remember. So I remember we had you on, or I had you on last summer when Cole was on paternity leave, and you
Yep.
mentioned like that's one of your things is like you did in college. You worked with a lot of musicians, or not, maybe not college, but early career type stuff, and that's kind of where you wanted to be. Is where you're just
Talking to
Interviewing
that
people.
are interesting. Yeah,
Shooting it
talking to
up
interesting
with
people.
cool
And I've said it
people.
before. I'll say it again. John does a wonderful job of
He does.
bringing it all back and interviewing, and it'll kind of come around the whole whiskey thing, and then get away from the whiskey thing. It's like an abnormal orbit.
It just
But it
goes
gets
wherever
there.
it
And
goes.
If
That-
you're not
that's the whole
following
thing. It just goes wherever it
Embellish
goes.
Pod, shame on you.
Yeah, you're probably not. Like, given the numbers, there's a good chance you're not, and I don't blame you.
But like, listeners of Chill Filtered, if you're a fan of us, be a fan of John. Embellish Pod.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
There you go. How are you doing, Robby? Well, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Just got back from vacation. It's going to come up later where I've screwed the pooch yet again. We don't have I didn't post what whiskey would you choose. I just randomly started looking for whiskey articles as we started this recording.
And bad ones.
Been busy. Yeah, there's not a lot out as of right now.
We'll work it out.
I'll refresh.
No, you should do the one that I sent you this week about Idaho and just read the top tiers.
Okay, we could do that. That could be default if I don't get there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, it's awesome. Last week we went to Spokane, to Medical Lake, Washington, my brother-in-law's house. We did cousin camp, and all my wife's sides, the cousins all got together, and we did a bunch of boating and riding roller coasters. I learned how to surf. It was amazing behind the boat.
Nice.
I tell you, man, if I could,
Eastern Washington.
if I could live on a lake, that would be my daughters. We woke up like not tricked, but I got them to go to sleep on the anticipation of, hey, the sooner you go to sleep, the earlier we wake up and we can go down and we can catch some fish. Like I went fishing with the twins for the first time. It was a good week. So
did they catch any sunfish?
Sunfish? No.
Like the basic fish.
Sunfish are basic fish?
They are. Yeah, it sounded like you were leading into a joke there. Like I thought he was leading into a joke.
I did too. Are sunfish pretty
that's how I grew up. I went to my grandma in Minnesota's lake a lot growing up. Not a lot, but like here and there, and that's all we caught, sunfish.
No, it must be regional because here it's like bluegill,
Midwest,
perch for lakes, and then like a lot of trout in the rainbows and brown trouts in the river. So yeah, so we caught a lot of bluegills. So
sunfish,
more like dodderfish,
more like funfish.
You know what, Cole? We need to work on this,
and we also need to go to break.
We do.
Wait, did John tell his life?
He did. He's talking about his guy's head.
You've already forgotten it. It was literally like 2 minutes ago.
This might have been my strongest, not strongest in terms of proof, but strongest in terms of how much I poured of this entry buzz.
Well, it's a Friday.
Are you sure that the smell in your car isn't from you?
What's that?
Are you sure that the smell in the car isn't from you? Like you got a short-term memory problem here.
I wouldn't even know what to do with the
I know it's not from you. As soon as you did this, I know that's not from you. It's not.
Cole just did a motion that makes it look like he has never smoked anything in his life.
None.
I've smoked
Although that may be a thing to try.
The only way it could have been worse would have been like his big toe and his pinky finger trying to hold a joint to his mouth.
So now you know, and that's what I always worried. Like a cop would pull me over and be like, "Step out of the car, sir." And I'd be like, "Trust me, officer, I don't smoke."
You just
and that's what I do. I'd be like, "This is what I do if I smoke."
Oh man! All right, you know what? Let's go take a walk. When we come back, we mentioned what we're drinking today.
Yes. No, we are drinking.
No, you haven't mentioned
a sample of. Actually, John, can you show the bottle? We are drinking a Barrell Craft Spirits New Year release. So keep an eye out when we get back from break, and then we'll drink it, and we'll talk about history too. And John might help and be a supplementary history today. So, man, I have drinking a lot of this entry buzz. Let's go to break. And we're back from a very long break. And we're doing history. We're talking about Barrell New Year. And I don't know what Robby's laughing about. But we're obviously having a great time.
We're not doing history yet, man.
We've
only mentioned what we're drinking.
Wait, isn't that what we do next?
It's what we do next.
How can we do history on the thing that nobody knows what we're drinking yet?
No, we talked about it. We're drinking Barrell New Year.
I did hold up the bottle.
Okay,
we didn't say
that's right. He held up the bottle, and we were live, Robby.
But which New Year are we drinking, though? Because they have a bunch.
Oh, 2022 New Year.
Cheers.
Now, kiss me, Robby.
Be. It's so weird to let. No, I don't think we should do this.
I was gonna say, yeah, because you guys were going opposite ways on my screen, and I don't know what you see, but I was like, it's this way.
All right, so timeout. Quick right here. So John, before we started recording, John's like, "Hold on, let me get my camera lined up here." And I was like, "Hey, your background's better than mine. I got an okay background. There's some whiskey over there." But I go, "It's way better than Cole's." And John's like, "It looks like Cole's recording from an Al Jazeera, like some sort of holdout kind of a thing." And then Cole's going, It just waiting for Cole to like pull out an AK-47.
Yeah,
start yelling.
Here are terms.
Where's the flag? If there was a flag behind you, it'd complete the look.
That's actually true. And even if it were a chill filtered flag, they'd be like, exactly. "Oh boy, what's gonna happen in that screen?"
Oh man, that's I'll get behind that nationalism. A chill filtered flag.
Yeah. Well, we have a chill filtered bar sign.
We do.
One of our listeners, Jerome Edwards, has. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like he has it
anyway. What's that?
You know, like he has it at his house.
He was the tier.
We'll go get it.
He hit that level of
gotcha.
Patreon. Yeah.
Do you want me to go get it back?
Yeah.
Speaking of backgrounds, I put up some LED lights, and I can't remember who you were talking to on yours, John.
Mm-hmm.
I put up some LED lights for the twins in their bedroom, like as like a nightlight kind of thing. That adhesive does not work, like you were saying. Like you got to work at that.
It is a nightmare, and honestly, this whole thing is going to get redone real soon. Well, just trying to get this stuff to work is just a pain.
And if you're redoing it, send that to Cole. Cole, when are you gonna update your background? Because you're like, "Hey Rob, we're doing YouTube now," but you've kept the hallway of the Holiday Inn background.
I just gotta, exactly. I just gotta add some, like, just put at least a table in the background and just put a few bottles up. But I do have a killer shelf, like a killer thing, but it's in a weird room where I don't want to put a desk in the middle of that room and put the computer there.
But you've got space. Might as well.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll just do a half shelf or something like that and be like, here are some of my 100+ bottles. So, John, how many bottles you got?
Bourbon or total?
Total.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it because I don't know that I've ever told my wife the full number.
Is she just really going to listen to us?
She's not going to listen. No, she's not.
She won't hear on the podcast.
Yeah, it's over 300.
Nice, man. I was happy with my like 120-ish.
There's not like some like just killer amazing bottles in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just standard shelf fare that you can find regularly. But there's a couple that I've had just hanging around.
I'm looking top left of your head, and I'm seeing Granddad 114. I can't even get that.
Oh.
So that would be a special bottle to me.
That one's hit and miss in this area. Sometimes you see it all the time. Sometimes you just don't see it at all. And I haven't seen 114 around here probably in 3 or 4 months.
So time out again.
Really?
I see a kitty cat on your shelf over your top left shoulder.
It's better than my bunny.
Where? What?
There's like
John, do you remember the bunny?
right
there. Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, that's a birthday card. There's 2 birthday cards. These are
is that from your daughters?
Yeah, so my birthday, I was actually in quarantine in this space
on your birthday
because of COVID. On my birthday.
How close is that? Well, that was closer when we recorded.
Yeah, that was January.
Yeah, no, like July, like whenever he and I just recorded a couple weeks ago.
That quarantine.
Right?
Wait, July what?
The 15th.
Oh, my wife's the 16th. I'm the 9th.
Yeah, I knew you were on the 9th for some reason. I can't remember if it was on a podcast.
Forget you guys with summer birthdays. You guys with summer birthdays are the worst because it's so easy to have a summer birthday.
You know what's great about a summer birthday?
What's that?
You know
people
how
actually care?
You know how fun your school birthday party is that you get to have when you have a summer birthday?
You get to have a pool party.
You can have a pool party, but in a world before cell phones, who did you invite? How did you get a hold of the people to be like, hey, come to my pool party in the summertime when I haven't seen you guys for 40 days?
Okay. So for 18 years.
I never had a school birthday cake. Not once in my life.
18 years.
It's in July. Why would I have a school birthday party?
Because the school provides a directory of random names of kids
like
and their numbers.
You take like cupcakes or a birthday cake or whatever to your kids' school, like February and December are my kids now. Like you take something up there. Like
But
that was never an option.
Okay, but so like that lasts up till like 5th grade, right?
I don't know.
6 years.
I think so.
Yeah, like middle school,
Sounds
you don't
about
really
right.
do that. So like 6 years. Oh, boo-hoo. You got 6 years where you missed out. Guess what? January 5th, everybody's partied out from Christmas. Everybody's partied out from New Year's. And on January 5th, you know who cares? Your wife, if you're lucky, but she feels guilted.
Well, Robbie, I'm really sorry that your parents didn't have sex at a different time of the year.
That's funny.
Then the
Summer birthdays for life.
And if you understand biology, good chance I'd have been gone by then. So I'm glad they did.
That's great.
Anyway, we're drinking new
Barrel
Bourbon.
Craft Spirits New Year from 2022. All right. Let's bring it into the history. I don't have
It's about
too
time
much
we
this
did.
year. I know, right?
Yeah.
But first of all, quick shout out to, at least for Robby and I, shout out to Brian Rapp for providing the sample we're drinking today. John, shout out to yourself for buying the bottle we're drinking today.
Shout out to my employer for giving me the means to purchase the things.
Heyo. So yeah, we're drinking a Barrell New Year, and we lost Robby for some reason. And this is our second Barrell Craft Spirits product on the podcast. Episode 201, we drank the 16-year Seagrass Cask Strength, the rye that was finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels, hoping to avoid overlapping anything. So I'm going to be talking more about the bottle we're drinking and the release we're drinking, as opposed to the background history of Barrell Craft Spirits, which we talked about in 201. So yeah, I did talk about last time the guy named Joe Beatrice starting up a whiskey company in 2013. Very transparent guy about how he sources everything, but he's also a great blender and gets help with great blending. Not everything he does is blends, though. He does offer some single barrel releases, and you'll see if you follow them on Instagram, you'll see a lot of their single barrel releases through that. He did hire a guy named Trip Stimson. What's that?
That's Matt Porter's.
A single barrel. Oh,
yeah,
killer.
yeah. He did a single barrel back in the summer. So there's one over there, and there's also some.
Shout
other
out to
stuff.
Matt friggin' Porter, the hot porter, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep. The Secret of the Booze is what this one was, actually. A play on Ninja Turtles, The Secret of the Booze.
I love that.
Yeah.
I got to buy more Matt Porter joints. We got the Nulu pick that he did, the rye pick recently. And
the friggin' apples?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. And so we're really excited to do that on a drink along soon.
Yeah, that's
or potentially
also right there.
Nice.
It's so hard
Dude,
on camera.
Friggin' Matt
to point to
Porter.
stuff.
Yeah.
Newscasters really have
point
it
to a
together.
white wall.
The thing is, though, you could use the white wall like a green screen, and you could project
That's
the background.
true. I
of
should
it
just
in
put up a
post
green
or
screen.
whatever.
Not a bad idea. I don't know how easy that is with StreamYard, though, but we'll
I've
find out.
oftentimes thought
It doesn't
having
work
my
super
daughters-
great. I've got a green screen over here, and it doesn't work super great with StreamYard's version of green screen.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. They do offer something. Yeah. But anyway, Trip Stimson from Kentucky Artisan Distillers, known for like things like Jefferson, who they hired him on, and he had previous experience before Kentucky Artisan Distillers at Brown Forman. We talked about that last time, but everything they do is cask strength, which definitely sets them apart in terms of the NDPs, the non-distilling producers. You'll usually get some non-distilling producers that'll provide some cask strength stuff, but Barrell with 2 L's is known for their only cask strength stuff. And they do rye blends, bourbon blends, and single malt blends, which is pretty cool. They do a lot of special finishes, batches like those batches of Armida or Seagrass or Dovetail, and which I spoke of in episode 201. But let's talk about the New Year bottlings. They've been doing New Year bottlings since 2017. And according to their website, at least for the 2017 release, quote, "New year, new beginnings, new traditions. We came up with the idea of blending a bourbon to celebrate the new year, and we gave ourselves free rein to develop something to capture the spirit of the season. It was the first time we blended barrels of different ages with different mash bills from different states. And we had a lot of fun doing it. To date, every release of our bourbon has been a marriage of casks produced in the same distillation season. We do this to highlight different production styles, aging techniques, and age expressions, unquote. And let me just say that from their website, considering their website, it is amazing. A+ for their website for documentation of everything they've ever made. And I've been to some websites where it's like, what do I get here? Like, this is a terrible website with no documentation.
And what letter grade do you give them?
I give them a D-, not quite an F, but pretty darn close. Especially the Sazerac, general Sazerac website that's still like at least a year or so ago was a Flash website. I give them an F. It was like a Flash website. I don't know. But anyway.
See, I like having John with us here because I can see his face going like, man, like Cole remembers, like, I don't know.
He's not the only one. That's just it. He's not the only one. Okay. Yes, because I'm in the same place. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and it's a craft spirit distiller, but and so part of the reason why their website is really good is Joe Beatrice comes from a tech background. Like,
that's right. He was a marketing guy.
Yeah, and their blending center is an old server warehouse in Lexington.
No way.
And so they're very like tech savvy, and you can sort of tell from what they're doing that there's like a nerdy tech vibe to it. And I am like, there's this grouping of people that came into whiskey from the tech world, and they're it. Well, this other brand, same way, they had a solid website. Their craft, they don't have a ton of expressions, but like they had a really snappy website. And some of these craft distillers, their websites are terrible.
Yeah. And you're like, what have you ever made? And they're like, we make whiskey.
Right. Which and they're getting wrapped up in the artistry of it, which is great, but I can't we're unique in the fact that we're like going out and trying to find this information to be able to talk about it, right? Because ultimately that should be the job of somebody who's going into a store and talking to their local retailer.
Yeah.
So, they may focus on that a little more heavily, but even talking to my local retailer, sometimes they don't get a ton of stuff. And so like, it doesn't take much to make a Squarespace or a Wix or whatever. Like,
that's all it takes.
You can put something together that's at least like C quality, Robby teaches school. You know what C quality is. It's not that hard to get there.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Now you work in like, you're a marketing guy, right?
No. So I work in the tech space. I work in ag tech space.
How did I not know this? I could have sworn you were in marketing.
No.
Who's in marketing? Marketers in marketing. Shout out to Ben Klepsit. And anyway, no, that's funny. I didn't know that. Wait, so what do you do?
So Cole, hold on. This might refresh your memory. Remember what was the grain, John, that you mentioned to us? Is it a kohlrabi, a Rob Coley?
Kohlrabi.
No, so that's not a grain. It's a kohlrabi. It's a vegetable
root.
Yeah, it's a root. It's like a thing that's like this big. It's a white thing. You can eat the leaves of it. It's in the brassica family.
In the what family?
Brassica. It's like broccoli.
That's how my daughters cheer for Nebraska. They say, "Go Braska."
Go Braska.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Go kohlrabi.
Yep.
That's all. There you go. So
farming tech.
Ag tech, yeah. So sort of,
ag.
sort of, yeah. I'm a digital product manager.
Ooh,
I just
have manages a product.
I just have meetings mainly.
Someone needs to.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm ready for this whiskey to meet my lips. Can we move this along?
I know, right? So, A+ for website documentation. Normally, they source from a few states. But their New Year release has become known for using quite a bit of in terms of sourcing their whiskey, actually recently. So let's go through some of the release 2017 real quick. 2017 was a 5 to 13 year bourbons from Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana. That was it. 117 proof, the highest to date of the new year releases. 2018 was a 5 to 14 year blend of straight bourbons from Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas, and New York. 111.2 proof. So they're adding more state. Wait, there's more. 2019 was a 4 to 15 year blend of straight bourbons from Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, New York, Texas, and Illinois. 112.1 proof. 20 was only two ages. Sad. 5 year and 10 year. Even though there were multiple states, I only grabbed 5 and 10 year though. From Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, New York, and Texas. That's five. 2021, and then that was at 109.4 proof. 2021 was a 11-year blend of straight bourbons from Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, New York, Texas, Wyoming, and Colorado, which is 10 or 7. I don't know why I just said 10, which is 7 states, and that was at 113.9 proof. And this year was at 7 years. What we're drinking 2022 Barrell, that's Barrell with 2 L's, is a 15-year blend of straight bourbons. Back up to the mid-teens as a high age barrels there. The 14-year, 7 states sourced from Tennessee, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Wyoming, New York, and Texas. 7 whole states they source from. 1.34 proof. It is one of about 18,000 bottles produced. Released in December of 2021. That was only like 8 months ago. And total wine price, MSRP $90. And now it is time to drink what we're drinking today. I am like, I'm not like at my limit, but I'm like loose, man. I'm loose. I like it. Oh, John, can you give us a ceremonial cork pop?
Oh, yep.
Nice. Sweet cork pop, John.
Oh,
we had an issue.
Oh, John O. Nice.
There you go.
Oh. Hey, we'll see the
now you're trying to sneak into like college
editing.
age people there.
Ooh, fancy water. Anyway, first I'll go with on nose. Bubble one.
Wait, what'd you say?
Bubblegum.
Bubblegum. I thought you said Bobby won. Like, all right, Bobby.
It did say it sounded like Bobby won, but it was bubblegum. Yeah. Okay, I can get that. So this is the 4th Barrell New Year that I've had.
Nice.
So I have the 19 in the house right now. I have the 20, and I don't know that I'm ever going to open 2020 Barrell New Year, like ever.
Why is that? Because it was
because if you remember what 2020,
simpler time.
I don't know what's in that bottle, but you remember what happened in 2020, and I don't want to open up whatever spirit lives inside that bottle.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to bring that back again.
Yeah,
but I had a
just hand it off
2021,
to
which we polished off the 2021, and I always remember them being dark, like a dark sugar, and this one doesn't. This is very much lighter to me, at least the way I remember. It's been time, you know.
I can get behind refined sugar sweet.
I can get behind bubblegum, like almost that cotton candy, sponge sugar.
Yeah.
Very refined.
Like a lighter sugar for sure. Not like a darker caramel or anything like that.
No.
Caramel, whatever. It's definitely a light sugar. And there's a little bit of sourness to me.
I get behind that.
Oh man. See, this is tricky. So the only other time we've had John on with all 3 of us was on his show. I mean, we didn't do 3 of us smelling, but like that's the thing is like power of suggestion over power of where you're at. And that's why I always tell people, like I met with a guy this week in Spokane. He sold me a bottle. He's a friend from high school. And he's like, I'm not at that level where I get this note or that note, but I'm like, have you ever sat down with a group of people and just everybody starts talking about like, this is kind of what I'm getting like, so I don't know. Sometimes like, there's times where Cole will be like, I get this. I'm like, I don't get it, but I respect it.
Yep.
But there's, but
that's good that you'll say I don't get it, because there's been times where I've had like newer whiskey tasters, joining me, and I'll throw a note that I don't absolutely have just to see if they're agreeing along with me, lay a trap, so to speak. And if they say no, if they're like, no, I don't get it, then I know you're getting closer to being genuine and like, or they're just like, no, I get that too. I'm like,
was that second middle name Damien? No, that doesn't follow. No, okay.
No, that doesn't. That. Oh
man,
that would have been cooler though. I should talk to my parents. I'll tell my parents that they should have named me Damien.
This is like
I'll let you guys
sweet.
sip, but I'm getting a very different experience on the palate as I am the.
So I will
no.
say this. So John mentions the like darker sugar. I get almost like it's strong. There's a strong sweetness to it, and I get close to like a maple syrup where it's like a really strong, definitive sweetness, but it's not in that vein. So it's like if you were to make a pancake syrup, waffle syrup out of like cotton candy or bubble gum kind of a thing. Like, you know, when like IHOP's like, here, you can have the Really Tutti Fresh and Fruity. Do you want your maple? You want the blueberry? You want the whatever else they give? If they said, do you want the, if it was like IHOP meets the dentist office with whatever, like, do you want the bubblegum syrup? This is bubblegum syrup to me. It's super sweet, really bright. I like nose for sure.
So while you guys are sipping, I'll talk about some of the palate notes I'm getting. So I think the bubblegum sort of exits, and the for me, and the cotton candy stays, but it's enveloped by like an oakiness that shows up on the end of the palate for me. Still good, but the sweetness changes for sure.
I definitely get some more wood, and I get a little bit of yeastiness, bready yeastiness to it, but not like a ton. It's not like overpowering, but it's got a green flavor, not like the color green,
like a green tobacco flavor.
Not even maybe that's appropriate, because I was thinking like white pepper and a green flavor. But if you get you can get pepperiness from tobacco, which is a thing, you know. So you can put those together and be like, yeah, it could be a tobacco thing.
Peppery. I'm getting peppery for sure on the back end of the palate. Really bright oakiness on the front, but it's really sweet still. And then it kind of fades. It transitions, like the heat comes in, and then when the heat dissipates, it's super peppery on the back end.
And the oak stronger on the back end for me, at least for me. Like it gets a little overwhelming almost.
Yeah, the oak does stick around. It really does.
I like it.
And love that oak. That's the biggest complaint I have is the oak turns too strong for me. And you know, you both know I'm pretty sensitive to the oak sometimes.
Oaky is not dokey with coal.
Yeah.
Nope.
It is for me.
Sometimes
that is the game. I want to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So whenever I first ever sort of got into wine, find me something that is super tannic and super woody. And that's what I wanted.
There's a snake.
What's your opinion on Chardonnay?
Chardonnay, man.
It's not tannic, oaky sometimes.
Right. It's Chardonnay. That's where I'm at.
Same answer.
Give me a dark red with oak. That's what I want.
A nice Chianti. I'm into that.
With fava beans, the best.
A little bit of liver too, if you can.
A little bit.
Yeah, avoid the brain because there's a lot of prions in there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you didn't have to risk that stuff unless you're Hannibal Lecter.
Goodbye, horses. I'm running back to you.
I need to watch some good old classics again. Like Silence of the Lambs is a great movie.
I saw that when I was in the 4th grade, I believe, and it gave me nightmares.
So apparently that's the movie that has the least screen time for lead actor to win an Oscar for.
Who won that?
That makes sense. Yeah, because he's not
Jodie Foster one.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is not
good actor.
I mean, the story follows her, but it's really about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to say there was less than 20 minutes of screen time. Anthony Hopkins for that.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
Did I see you drop water? Did we move?
I dropped water.
Yeah.
I went to water
too. Right
now. Oak is foremost in the front.
Does it get
very
oaky now?
On the nose, it's really oaky.
I'm still getting really nice sweet.
It's a sweet
candy.
Oak. It's vapory, but it's very oak. Like the wood is.
Maybe I didn't add enough water because I'm not getting a ton of oak on the nose. I'm getting cotton candy and bubble.
So my sweetness is more of a cherry, kind of a bourbony kind of a thing. So I'm kind of I'm getting away from the bubblegum sweetness. Like it's still very sweet. It's a sweet oak. It's vapory. It's not. And what I love this about it is it's not super vanilla. I don't like a lot of vanilla, and it's not hitting that really at all. But it's like the best parts of bourbon to me is what it's getting right now.
That's too bad. I love a vanilla note.
Oh, I hate it.
Like I feel like the vanilla is present enough that it's a bourbon. There's always going to be a tinge of vanilla that just exists. That's the nature of the wood. But this is not one of those where you're just like, oh, my notes on this are vanilla, caramel, and wood. Like those are the three
nature
things.
of the wood. That's my people.
That's ooh, I like it. Okay, so not hot up front, but on the back end, it gets real hot for me, and that pepper comes back out again. I like it.
Very different.
Maybe even a little more. And I struggle with this note, but tobacco, like I get maybe a little like tobacco on the back end too.
I'm with you. I think, and that's the water has given me more tobacco than the original did.
I'm getting a ton more. Like, I'm not even getting notes anymore. I'm just getting savory, peppery, almost bitter notes on the, which is surprising for a core.
Yeah, no, I will say I like the front end of the palate here. It's really like the viscosity on the mouthfeel is super nice with a little bit of water on it. It just hits kind of like it's not super viscous. It's not unviscous, but it's got a nice viscosity to it. It's just kind of smooth, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool. I'm like an introvert. No, I'm not. I'm an extrovert, and welcome to the party. Woohoo! Kind of a thing.
It's the person that shows up to the party and stays sort of quiet, but once they get to know everybody there, they're like, hey,
want to see a trick?
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn this house to the ground, and you're going to have fun while it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, John, Boise, you got to hit up the Boise Fried Company.
Well,
it's right off 9th Street. Or no, right off 8th Street.
Whew.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's Capitol.
It gets super peppery.
It builds. Like the heat builds. You can just feel it like just radiate out. It's got a strong hug.
This is white people spice.
On the
right?
water.
It's like, oh, I had a little pepper for kick. Yeah. This is like pepper kick for sure. It hits heat. Like the proofage on it hits at the same time where you get this like intense peppery kind of.
I don't get a ton of proof. I get the proof that it's there. I mean, you're still 100 and some odd proof, but the pepper for sure.
Well, so for me, it gets real hot and vapory, and then all of a sudden, but for just a little bit there, and then it goes into straight pepper.
There's a sweetness to it throughout.
Yes,
but the pepper overwhelms it. I wouldn't call out sweet unless does this get really, really bitter at the end? And it's like, nah, not exactly bitter. It's just smoky and peppery. So I'm gonna add a cube.
Fire in the hole. That was like we've been talking for so long.
That was the worst ice noise I've ever heard.
I am so sorry. Well, here's the thing. Like on breaks, like we're just having a good time, right? Like I just swirly pooed out of the glass onto my hand here.
Nice.
We're just having a good so my ice is well past. It's like more water than ice right now. So
I'm there too. Luckily, I have these handy dandy tongs, which you can't really make out.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, a classy. Let me see that tongue.
They're actually made for pulling cherries out of a cocktail cherries.
Yeah,
that's what it's made for.
I love it when John Hughes goes. Show me when a John Hughes goes. Let me see that tongue,
baby.
Cisco, what happened to Cisco, man?
He died out as he showed up.
No, I think he put out a song or an album in the last couple 3-4 years, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look at it again, but I distinctly remember this because I was having this. So in preparation for this episode that I might get to do on Tuesday, I was sort of like thinking about, hip hop and rap over the last few years. And, like there was really good stuff in the early to mid 90s. And then in the early 2000s, it was a lot of like, this is a fun song. And that's exactly what happened with Cisco specifically.
Wasn't Cisco in part of another group? Or was he just always Cisco?
Cisco hold music.
I was never a Cisco super fan, so I
no.
I
swear
he
was in another band or something like that.
Look it up. So I'll talk about the nose notes. I'm still getting a little bit of the first note, the sweet notes of cotton candy and like white sugar, and I'm a little bit, but I'm getting a little more oak than I have on the last two sniffs.
Yeah. I think again, everything's muted. The sweetness is there, the oakiness is there. It's not standing out like it did. So I'm gonna go for a sip.
This is not an ice pour.
I'm gonna go for a sip. So go
ahead.
I prefer the ice pour well above the water pour. It's really nice and oak doesn't overwhelm it. I might choose this as my first pour because of the palate.
Really?
Best pour. I only added a little bit of ice, but this is perfect.
I don't know. So I think I'm still on the neat, then maybe the ice and then the water, but they're both, I don't know. The ice feels more just muted to me. Like it feels like it turns everything down.
Man, this is still super peppery. Like things are like come and go. Like there's a lot of sweet notes, a lot of oaky notes, but the pepper on this, man, you can just, throw a little bit of salt on it and just douse your steak in this. Cause like this is enough pepper to carry you through anything. It's peppery, but in a good way. I do like it. Also, I like this as much as Drew Hill liked being a member of, or Cisco liked being a member of Drew Hill, which I can't remember any song Drew Hill did, but he was a member of another band. So
nice.
I like this as much as I liked the year 2019, which was the last year that Cisco put out an album.
I like this.
It was called
Cisco Hold Music.
Cisco, tell him.
You were looking up one thing, and I was looking up an entirely different thing, and both of them are related to Cisco. Honestly, if you'd asked me things that I was thinking we would talk about, Cisco would have never been on the list. Not at
We're
all.
cultured here on Chill Filter.
But
would not have charted like Cisco's thong song in 2004. I don't know. I didn't look that up.
Oh man.
No, pepper notes on this are prominent. I think that's like, every pour it's peppery in a great way, but the sweetness is there. Nose in all three. I get a subba to what? That's like a sub hubba to what from this, where I'm like, it's
shout out to Brian Rapp.
There you go. It just hits in interesting ways.
It is distinctly cooler. That is one thing I can say.
Hey, I can get behind that.
You've listened to a couple of our shows. Thanks, John.
I think this goes from sweet peppery as opposed to some of the last pours where it's like straight up peppery at the front.
All right, what's the
I think
MSRP
this one
on this bottle again?
transitions a little bit.
What's the MSRP?
90.
Oh man, okay, never mind. Because I'm thinking like, to me, like the pepper notes that show up, this would be great for doing like a bourbon marinade kind of a thing, right? On a cut of red meat, like you throw in some tri-tip or something like that. Yeah. And because if the pepperiness was to transition over to the meat, like it could track and it could be great. But at 90, I wouldn't do that.
You could use this as a complimentary pour to a steak. Like if you were eating a steak with this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can pair it. You don't have to put it in a sauce. You can just
I got you.
Pair everything.
Mr. Hughes, look at you. No, so my wife and I, we had our 16-year anniversary last week, and we went to like a really nice restaurant. We got some gift cards from friends, and it was like probably one of the nicer restaurants in Boise.
Where'd you go?
Gosh, it's a steakhouse. I can't remember the name.
It's nice enough he doesn't even remember it.
I don't remember.
Nice.
But I got a very nice filet mignon, and it was this would have gone great with it.
Are you a filet guy, Cole?
I'm a ribeye guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the world.
rare.
Like you're either a ribeye guy or you're a filet guy. Like there's very.
I'm
rarely...
a yes, please. I'll take them both.
Right.
No,
This
I am
filet,
a strong
this
ribeye guy. Yeah,
filet
very
mignon
rare.
I had a
I can't go
dry
wrong.
rub chimichurri on it, and as soon as you say chimichurri, I'm all in. So that's what I went for.
I'm with you.
Chimichurri.
Anthony's. I think it was Anthony's Steakhouse downtown.
Nice.
But my wife got these scallops on haystack potatoes.
Ooh.
Nice.
And I'm not a fish guy. I don't like fishiness a lot.
That's good
but
because
this was
scallop's not a
perfect.
fish.
What?
Oh, true.
See, so okay, when John was on a couple weeks ago, I was like, if we add John to this podcast, I'm the dumbest person in the room. Case in point.
No, I just like scallops a lot. Right?
Oh,
Wait,
my God.
so
I guess technically
John.
they're shellfish, so maybe that.
So they is fish, John. You don't know much.
technically. That's right. I am dumb.
Wait, so John, speaking of Idaho, and speaking of what kind of potatoes were on this dish, Robbie?
It was a
Haystack,
haystack
what
potato. So I
Haystack
assume it
potatoes.
was
So like
probably gold.
when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. But when in Boise, you eat potatoes.
Yeah.
And another recommendation I have for you is big city, probably walking distance from your hotel. But the greatest
you'll walk there.
it's not really a diner.
Yeah, you can walk there, but you won't walk back because the helpings.
You probably need to walk back, but it's not a physical possibility.
Yeah.
I highly recommend their loaded potatoes breakfast. Is life changing.
I'm going to decarb
always
for the rest
go
of the
there.
month until I go. Is what's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to no carbs until I go, and then just like all of them, and then sleep for a
when
month.
in Boise. Yeah,
Gotta eat the potatoes.
Yeah.
All right, I've got some ratings in mind.
Okay.
I too have a rating in mind.
Do you want to go first, Cole?
I have a rating in mind already.
John, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'll go first on this one.
Cole likes to go first. We like to let Cole go first.
We like
Cole
to let
doesn't go
Cole
first. He throws his
thing. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to see me.
No. John doesn't say number. That number wasn't his rating. Go ahead. Well, you got to go.
I'm gonna go an 8.3 here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I really appreciate the nose note of sweet, sugary, refined sugary bubblegum and what do you call it? Cotton candy. But I don't think it impresses me much more than that. The oaky notes take over. The peppery notes take over. I wish it were cotton. And so, but it's still good, still drinkable. But I don't know if I'd buy a bottle of the 2022. So with 8.3 here, good, not great. Worth trying. If this were my first Barrell craft spirits product, I would try more. I'm impressed by them, but I wouldn't buy it for 90. So 8.3.
John, you want to go?
Sure.
All right.
So I'm going to be right at. I don't feel bad about buying the bottle. That's where I start at. Like, do I feel good or bad about buying the bottle? Would I buy a second one? No, I wouldn't. But that's sort of the game that exists with these New Year bottles, is that they vary from year to year to year, right? So that this year they swapped out, was it Colorado for Ohio as one of the distills that they used in this. And they're still in a 7 distillery blend. There's a unique flavor profile. This is what I would consider absolutely unique. Anybody that comes to my house, you can drink anything you want. Doesn't matter. Open, unopened, we'll drink it. But when people ask for recommendations, if you're not a person who would drink a ton of whiskey to try to understand, I wouldn't recommend this.
That's
because it's a unique profile. It's a really unique profile based off of the whiskeys that I've had. Now, there's people that have probably had tons of other things who are like, nah, this is not. Bubblegum and white pepper feels like a really unique profile. So I'm putting it like right at an 8.15 maybe. Like I feel good about it. I think it's delicious. It's not something I drink a ton of. I will probably start a night with it and then drink other things afterwards. But it's a thinker. Like you're gonna casually drink this. You're gonna be like, what's happening here? So 815, something like that.
I like that.
Okay. So I'm differing from you guys. You guys are close. I'm going a little different. I'm going 8.8.
Oh,
I feel like this it's very niche.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is an homage to
Just right. Apparently there's no homage.
So like I like to drink, right? I like to drink this cocktail, I like to drink that cocktail, I like to drink this whiskey, I like to drink that whiskey. This whiskey to me fits a spot. I want to have this, like we talked about, I want to have this with the steak. Like it is got the peppery notes that I want to have with it. It's going to complement it perfect. Maybe I don't got to get the pepper shaker out. Like the guy says, do you want pepper on this? He's got the big, huge grinder. I'm like, no, man, I don't need the grinder because I got this. It fits the spot.
Grinder, I bear.
Darn near killed him.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was happening.
So I think if this is kind of your notes, this is kind of like that hedging territories kind of a bourbon where it's almost to that rye spice. Like, and to be honest, it kind of passes the spiciness where you would expect a rye to be. Super spicy bourbon, delicious. I like it. It gets a sub of a wet because it's almost a hub of a wet for the price. If this was, you price this down about $15, $20, you got something special. Mm-hmm. It is tricky at that price point. So, I mean, not a lot of people are going to spring for it, but I'm going to go 8.8 because if you're on the anniversary, you're on the special date night, you're at whatever, it's a special night, or you're loaded. I don't know, but you're at a steakhouse, throw this next to it. I would love to be able to do that. So that's where I'm at.
I think you're exactly right. And that's the other thing is I'm hedging mine a little bit, not worried about the price because I know how Barrell prices.
Yeah.
And there is not a ton of Barrel that exists sub $90. So this is their entry price point almost. Most of their stuff stays that high, which is considered premium and a problem. And so if I gauge it that way, it doesn't bother me as much. But if I look at it across the market, you're exactly right. It's high for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, man. Are we ready to transition to the next segment, which is non-existent?
I would like to transition next segment.
Nice.
Wait, we don't have a what whiskey or what whiskey world?
We do have whiskey world news. But I don't have a what whiskey would you choose?
Well, let's transition to our segment that we do have.
I thought we were call. Oh boy,
whiskey world news.
And we're back. It's part of the show where I'm going to read an article. Nah, I'm not going to because we're going over time. We're going to look at an article. We're going to talk about it. We didn't write it.
Reference an article.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Here we go. It's comes from, and we've been local to Virginia with like people in Virginia, like working for the ABC stores saying like, hey, I'll take this bottle and no one else can have it kind of a thing. So we're going to come to Idaho. And it's from the Idaho Statesman, written by Michael Deeds, and it's titled Idahoans spent a record amount on liquor in the past year. The top seller is off the charts. And you know what? I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to go straight to what Idahoans have been drinking. And I think part of it is going to make sense to you guys. Here we go. All right. So the first one is just Tito's. Idahoans buy more vodka than any other spirit. And you know what?
Potatoes.
I think that's, potatoes. Potato vodka.
Yeah.
Although you can make
even
vodka.
though this is corn based.
I thought Tito's was potato based.
I almost swear it's corn based, but
all right,
keep going,
Robbie. To the internet. Tito's is Austin, right? Austin, Texas. I would assume Austin gets more corn than potatoes. But you two, Googleation, I'll keep going here. Number 2, Pendleton Canadian whiskey.
Corn.
Yuck. Who likes... Okay, 100% corn.
Me more than you, Robbie.
Pendleton Canadian whiskey And vanilla notes, not me.
The Pacific
Maybe
Northwest.
John, maybe Cole does, but I cannot stand vanilla notes, and that's all I get from Pendleton's. And people think they're getting something that's local from Pendleton, Oregon. Not local. We know that. Yuck.
Yeah.
Number
It's
3.
like Canadian / Oregon.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one. But it's certainly not Pacific Northwest, Pendleton, Oregon. And then number 3, Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
The best whiskey.
Number
the
4,
3% best whiskey.
Number 4, Crown Royal Canadian whiskey. I don't mind Crown Royal. You know, I like Canadian whiskey. Crown Royal is.
I'm seeing a trend here.
It's drinkable. It's drinkable.
It is
seeing a very strong trend of
number 5,
Idaho best spirits.
Number 5, Jack Daniel's Old Number 7. Okay, all right. In a pinch. Number 6, Jameson Irish. Yeah, all right. Okay.
Whiskey. There's a lot of whiskeys on this top some spirits.
You know, and then we go number 7, Smirnoff vodka. Yeah. Number 8,
back to vodka.
Captain Morgan. Number 9, Black Velvet Canadian blended whiskey.
We need to do a Black Velvet episode.
There you go.
Do we
I don't
need
even know
to?
The history of that.
Do we need to, or do we have to?
We have to.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do a two pick Tuesday of like Velvet versus like I don't even know what would lose to Black Velvet.
Well, here we
whiskey
go.
That has been aged in a shoe.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Number 10, we can do with
Floki.
Crown Royal Regal Apple. And Black Velvet will probably win.
So I got Crown Royal Peach over here if you want to do that.
Hey, you know what? That's an entry to whiskey maybe that might work for my wife. She actually likes the Crown Royal Peach.
It's not terrible.
Peachy.
It's if you want peach, it's great.
Yep.
If you want whiskey, it's not great.
It's not.
But if you want peach, it's great. Throw some in.
If you want peach and to be reminded of whiskey, you're okay.
Of whiskey.
Like you smell it like, oh, this doesn't smell like peach. This smells like, but not vodka either.
Wait, John, what's the proofage on the peach?
Oh gosh, I want to say it's like 30 to 33.
So it's not even like legal whiskey. It's peach whiskey. If it's less than 40, John's checking.
I want to say it's in the liqueur range.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not surprised.
I might get it faster than. Hey, Cole, remind us of the color of our last of the Barrell new.
This Barrell new
35
year, really dark.
35.
So it's not even a whiskey. It's a
70%.
peach whiskey.
Correct.
Yeah, lame.
So there you go.
Lame crumb.
I know.
But another shout out, Bro Askateswinosososoa. Mentioning last week that they actually Royal does have great potential, especially with their 100 mash. But they're wasting it on liqueurs like Crown Royal Peach and
are they
like that?
Because Idahoan drinkers would disagree.
They would absolutely disagree that what they're making is
number 5 or 6 best spirit in Idaho.
So this is where I think off podcast, off YouTube, we talked about this. This is where the hipster-ness comes into play. If you listen to this podcast, there's like a hipster side of you where you are able to look at whiskey and go, either you're getting into it and you want to be like, okay, what's this? What's that? But more likely you're kind of like, I drink whiskey. And this is not whiskey. That is whiskey. This is not whiskey, kind of a thing. And so when you look at like Crown Royal stuff, like, or any, like you look at the what is it? The peanut butter whiskey. You look at stuff like that. You go, Screwball. That's not whiskey. But you drink whiskey and you go, I get this note. I get that note. Like, okay, we're in a very niche kind of arena here. I think the average drinker is not there. And that's one thing I kind of like about, like about these whiskeys is my wife goes, you know what? I would take this. And like, this is the, like, after she had Crown Royal Peach, she goes, I would take that whiskey in some Fresca and add a little elderflower and I'm there. And that's the gateway drug.
Saint Germain.
So I can appreciate it. Like, yeah, more And then at the same time, it also justifies this feeling of like, oh, this is why I buy this whiskey, honey, because it reminds me, because I get that hipstery point. I appreciate this, you don't, neener.
Right.
So I don't know. I appreciate it. I understand that like the average drinker is kind of like when they drink to like it tastes good and I get a buzz. I can appreciate that. So that's where I'm at.
It's the same in whiskey. It's the same in coffee. It's the same in cigars.
Right.
It's the same in beer. And if you find the snobs of those groups, they'll all get along with each other as long as you don't start talking about which one's the best. Because if you're like, oh no, coffee's the best, I'm like, no, whiskey's the best. Like, but we're all like 0.5% of the marketplace and just think we're super important.
Yeah, for sure.
We really, really are.
That's true.
We're the most important consumer.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
I love it.
There.
So yeah, that's my thought.
Of it.
Spirits.
That was your thought. You didn't say anything. You just agreed.
Wait, what?
You didn't say anything. You just go, that's my thought. And then so I guess you agree. You just agree.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree, but I'm glad that I feel like of the top 6 or so that whiskey dominated.
It really did. Yeah, whiskey was the winner in that list. Vodka was a close second, and then nothing else matters after
liqueurs. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So, crud. Cole,
what whiskey would you choose this week?
We don't have one because I was a degenerate, and we're already going way over in time. So I don't have anything from last week. Do we have one for this week, Cole?
Yes, we do.
Perfect.
Of the bottles, those on YouTube, the bottles behind John Hughes. What would you choose to drink right now?
Man,
I have an answer.
Cole, you're calling people to switch over momentarily?
Hey, do whatever you want
from the podcast to go over to the YouTube channel.
Just for a.
Are you bumping numbers? Was that planned, or are you just scrounging here?
Listeners, you do you. You do you. But John,
all right.
Answer me this.
Riddle me this. It's a unique way to convert folks. I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by it too.
Smooth.
All right, John, riddle me this. I see a Taylor behind your head to the left. Mm-hmm. What are you drinking up there?
That's to his right. Taylor to
the whatever.
It's a direction.
Whatever.
It is a direction. My left, your right. What does it matter? Honestly, what am I drinking is probably. I mean, am I talking about what's visible behind me or what's behind me?
What's behind you? But what is that? Is that Taylor I see?
Oh, that's just a single barrel. It's a Taylor single barrel.
And what's the one more center of that?
Right next to it?
Yeah.
It's a Sam Houston 15.
What's the one next to that?
That's a Smooth Ambler contradiction.
Ooh.
This is devolving very quickly.
with other ones I can see, I'm going to go with the E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, John, real quick. Is that a Redwood Empire right above the crown of your head there on the far top shelf? Top. I was going top.
No. So that is the Redwood Empire is right here.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Which one is that?
It's just Redwood Empire. Just to stand.
Perfect. That's what I'm drinking. Boom.
Okay.
Have you sipped that yet, Robbie?
I have.
Oh, really? So in a future episode, we'll have to drink that. That's a Ben Klepsik joint.
Yep. Oh, there's also a Lost Monarch, I think, in there as well.
Oh, you know what? It might be the Lost. That's the Ben Klepsik joint.
Redwood Lost Monarch is what I'm going with. John, from your shelf.
Great American single malt.
What am I drinking from my shelf?
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, baby. Russell's 13.
I just picked it up.
Did you get that this year or last?
This is this year's. I picked it up last
where'd
week.
You get it?
Local, same place I got this. The single.
I love it.
He held on to it for me, and I have not partook from it yet because I was wanting to. I want to make sure I'm 100% back on my palate before I go after it. Because I have.
So that's where Cole is. Okay, same place.
That's what I'm doing with my Russell's 13.
But I have a comparison to do with it, and so we're in the. This is the brag part. Let's just be
brag it up.
Okay.
I want to compare against this one.
Ooh, that's a good. Yeah, father and son, one wild turkey.
Yeah, it's the international release from England or whatever, and I want to see how these stack up. Of course, one's like barrel
cast
proof and one's not. One's cast strength and one's not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you'll have that, but we'll see. I want to compare them against each other because the last thing that I had before I lost my palate was the father and son.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been kind of going back to it and being like, okay, I feel like I'm back where I was. Not that I have an amazing palate, but I want to be like a fair comparison. I want to be back to apples.
So, have you ever had a sip of the 2021 Russell's 13?
I did. I had a chance to try that at a friend's house in Omaha last August,
nice.
And it was
so. I got to try it at a bar. It was in collection tier, like upper antique collection tier. So I'm excited to crack ours. Shout out to Andrew Loud and his wife Melissa for helping us out with that this year.
Yeah.
All right. So I will put that up this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cole, to prove that I'm not the only degenerate on the podcast, Cole, what are we drinking next week? What are we going to pick for Pick 2 Tuesday?
Oh, I'm degenerate. So we're drinking back to Lagavulin. We're between Lagavulin 16 and 16. And 11, Nick Offerman, which is stout finished, I believe.
Perfect.
So we'll put that on Tuesday as the the Pick Tuesday. So keep an eye out. We're ready for your votes this week, and for shipping in this week. So
now, which Nick Offerman Lagavulin is it? Because he has two.
Oh, really? I know
there's like
that's true. It's the second edition, I believe.
Okay, it's the 11 year. Okay.
Yep.
I think the first one was 9 or 10 years, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Mr. Hughes.
What a pro. He even gets
John
into
O.
Scotch.
something H.
John O. something Hughes. But not the director.
Correct. Well, the director, I don't know that he had a middle name. It's just John Hughes.
He died, so he loses his middle name.
He really does.
Wow.
It's a cold world,
harsh.
Robbie.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess we're closing in on this episode, but I hope that Robbie and John enjoy their middle name.
And I hope that I don't get in trouble for this recording going so long because it's been a lot of fun.
I hope that I think we can stretch it another like 16 minutes so we can get some solid out. Right? Like we're at 2
I think we can, to be honest, if we tried, which is great. I think that's an amazing thing of having a guest like John.
Definitely stretch it much further than that. But I hope
there's always things to talk about
because I feel like I'm on the verge of my house blowing up. But most of all, listeners, I hope our love of spirits lifted yours. And Rob,
do you ever go by Rob?
I don't ever go by Rob.